Hey, welcome to the Go To Physio episode number 66 or season 4, episode 16. And today's episode is all about how to improve your therapist's package of care conversions. Now, packages of care, it's a Marmite topic where you can either love packages or you can hate packages. And what I want to do in today's show is really show you how you can simply sell packages of care ethically and without being salesy. And it's actually very, very easy to do. And if you get this wrong and you use scripts and all that other stuff, patients can see through it very, very quickly. And I'll be honest, when I first started working with coaches in the early days of Grow My Clinic, probably one of the biggest mistakes I'd done was I went to a seminar, then you bring back a lot of stuff and scripts, you push it on your therapist and your admin staff, and usually what tends to happen is your staff feel uncomfortable, they don't deliver it well, your patient feels uncomfortable, and it comes across as salesy, okay? And ultimately then the culture of the business is eroding, and then, before you know it, you found yourself in a bad place. So if you have tried packages before and you felt salesy or anything like that, then this episode is for you, because I'm going to show you how to do this ethically, and most importantly, how to get your team to do it without feeling salesy and just do their jobs and let the package take care of itself. And I think that's the key thing to understand with this package of care conversion, is it's a metric that will take care of itself. Now, in the previous episode 65, talked a lot about the IA rebook percentage and how to improve that. And I said in that episode that the gold standard, or the most important number here, is the IA rebook percentage. Because if all of your head physio dashboard numbers, like your IA rebook rate, your drop-off percentage, your PVA, if they're all hitting the clinical standards, it doesn't actually matter if you sell a package or not. Why packages are useful is because it's going to make your cash flow situation a lot better, but it's also going to improve the efficiency of the business. So if you look at all your cancelled patients that didn't rebook, your patients that didn't attend, I can pretty much guarantee you 99% of them aren't going to be on packages. Your patients that have already paid for the treatment up front, they're going to rebook, and they're not going to be in your cancelled and not rebooks. Now, the beauty of it from an efficiency point of view, that means then that your admin team, you're not using your admin team's time, energy, resources to be following up these patients that haven't rebooked again, okay? Because they've already rebooked, they've already paid for the session. So the efficiency of the business goes up tenfold. But the big thing here clinically is that by getting a patient to buy in to a package of care in the first session, is you're taking all of the money out of it, all the distractions. The patient is fully committed to the treatment plan, which means they trust you, they trust the plan. And then ultimately that's giving you the best opportunity to get results, because what you've bought there essentially is time to deliver the results. Whereas if the patient hasn't had a package, then essentially you have to expend more energy in the next session, selling the next session even more. Whereas if you do a really good job with the stages that I'm going to take you through now, you've set expectations, you've got the money out of the way, all that's left is now to get this patient results. And if you're as part of the mentorship or the mastermind, you have to go to Clinic Hub as well to help you deliver those results for the patient. So there's a lot to be said for packages. Now, when I talk about packages of care, what I'm not talking about is selling a patient a 20 package, okay, and they come in every week for 20 sessions and they lie in the bed and they get the same hands-on treatment every single week. What I'm talking about here is the key actions that need to happen in order for this to happen naturally and in a way that saves the patient money, okay? And we're going to talk a little bit towards the end of this of how to then, when you get outside of the treatment room, how to actually package or position these so that it's just a natural way to save money for patients, okay? So when we talk about treatment plans and improving the packages of care conversions, we're going to use our 6-stage or go-to clinic patient journey, 6 stages, okay? So there's 6 stages a patient needs to go through to get reviews and results. If we want to improve our patient's package of care, or package of care conversion, then we're going to need to leverage the key actions that need to happen to move your patient through stage 1, stage 2, and ultimately stage 3. So The first stage is the patient needs to buy into the treatment plan. Now, we spoke a lot about this in episode 65, so I'm not going to go into the nuts, the bolts, the weeds of all of this again. Review episode 65 if you need a more in-depth refresher of this, okay? To get the patient to buy into the treatment plan, we talked a lot about the 4 big objections, okay? The first thing we spoke about was, in order to get someone to buy into a treatment plan, you have to get clear on what their vision looks like for themselves of a better future. If you can't clearly define what their definition of success is, it's going to be very, very hard to get them to actually buy into any treatment plan, not to mention actually pay for a package at the end of it. We then need to, once we're clear on that, how else does the patient define value? Okay, so we need to extract that from our subjective assessment. We need to then make those things our top priority, because this is what the patient is judging us by in terms of overcoming the 4 objections, which is time, money, trust, self-trust. Trust as you as a therapist, or self-trust in themselves to actually get the results. The biggest objection is self-trust. So self-trust is, can I actually do this? Will I waste money and time and effort in actually doing this? Do I believe in myself to do this? One of the big things we spoke about in the last episode was making the treatment plan feel easier. Here's my definition of success. Here's the bite-sized progressions that we're going to, and milestones that we're going to hit every week along the way. Okay? So you have all of that. That, again, in episode 65, absolutely critical to understand. The other big thing is we need our therapist to be able to make sense of the patient's symptoms. If your therapist is confident your patient's going to smell bullshit, they're not going to trust the therapist. They're not going to buy into the treatment plan because they don't believe the therapist can help them achieve their better vision. Okay, so these are all things that are non-negotiable there. So the key thing here that we really need is we need the therapist to be able to make sense of the patient's symptoms. We need to be able to then have a framework to confidently explain the problem, solution, and plan. The plan needs to be broken down into bite-sized patient value outcomes along the way to achieving their definition of success. And then we need to be able to realistically tell the patient how many sessions it's going to take. Because if you cannot tell the patient how many sessions it's going to take confidently, and a lot of therapists can't do that, by the way, then there's no logical reason for a patient to buy a package, an 8-session package or a 6-session package at the end of the session. Okay? So if they don't know how many sessions it's going to take, how can you expect them to buy a package? Okay, so all of those things, and again, I'm leveraging my last episode a lot here as well. Okay, I'm assuming you've gone and listened to that before this, because all of those things to improve your IA rebook percentage that I went into in a lot more detail are absolutely critical. So if we assume that our therapist has got a clear understanding of how the patient defines their vision of a better life, the patient has bought into now the therapist and the treatment plan helping them achieve that, the next thing that needs to happen then is they need to feel progress in the first session. And that needs to be aligned, progress needs to be aligned with how the patient defines progress, not how the therapist defines progress. Therapists define progress usually range of motion, pain, all this. Patients define progress as the outcomes that they want to achieve. How closer am I to achieving my definition of success? So our clinical reasoning, our ability to influence the right tissues at the right time. Again, the go-to clinic hub that we have for this, we have got a fast start section here which helps you actually just get results no matter what joint it is quickly, where we can change the pain very quickly if you know the right tissues. So if you can anatomy, your biomechanics, your pain science, it's actually not that hard to change a pain experience. It's a lot harder to keep that pain away, okay, when the patient goes back out into the real world. Okay, and again, the go-to clinic hub, we've got that all set up so you can make a fast start to move past stage 2. Then getting the patient to rebook and attend the next session. Okay, in order to do that, they need to have bought into treatment plan, they need to have felt the value. So stage 3 then, a lot of that's around prescribing the right rehab exercises between session 1 and session 2. Now, why am I talking about session 2 already? Because the key thing to understand is, and we get this in a lot of the time, I would say actually, in our clinic, is sometimes the patient may not buy the package in the first session, but when they feel the progress between session 1 and session 2, they'll then purchase the package in the second session. Okay, so just because they don't buy it in the first session doesn't necessarily mean that they're never going to buy it. Okay, so this is where prescribing the right rehab exercises to keep the gains you made in the first session all the way to the second session is absolutely critical as well. So that's why I've put stage 1, 2, and 3 as the key stages, the key actions that need to happen to pass through these milestones in order to improve that metric, okay? So then once we've got the patient to buy into the treatment plan, they're confident in us as a therapist, they can feel the difference in the first session, and they're clear on the exercise they're going to need to do to help them be successful in that week. When we bring the patient out into the reception area or whatever, it needs to be positioned in a way to make it easy to buy. So if you don't have stages 1, 2, and 3 right, and you focus all your time and energy on this shiny laminated package table with how much money they're going to save and all of that, and you've got the best admin salesperson in the world at the front desk, if the patient hasn't bought into the treatment plan, feel the difference, they're not going to buy a package, okay? Do not kid yourself, okay? And what's going to happen is if you have a really pushy salesperson who's very good at making them buy the package, what's going to happen? They're going to go home, they haven't passed stage 2 or stage 3, they're getting more pain, they're going to be resentful, they're going to feel manipulated, and you're not going to have a happy patient, okay? And that to me is far, far worse than the quick bit of cash that you've had coming in, okay? The package is sold essentially, 90% of the selling in a package happens by the patient actually getting them to buy into the treatment plan. They need to feel a difference, and they need to be very clear that they're going to continue to make that progress in the first session. Now, when you have the patient coming out, okay, Ava, my daughter, she's 14, she works behind, she helps out in the clinic. I'll be careful what I say with child labour, okay? We pay her a fair wage and all of that, okay? She helps out in the clinic. She can sell packages, okay? Because all she does is she gives the visual guide to show, here's the different packages. The therapist comes out and says, hey Eva, can you rebook Mary or John, whoever the patient is, for next week? I've told them it's going to take 6 sessions. Eva will be able to tell you how you can save some money with some of our package options if you want to, okay? Eva then takes the patient, goes, no problem. So Dave said it's going to take 6 sessions. You can either pay as you go, which is this price, or if you want to save some money, we've got some packages where you can pay up front and you can save money. Which would you like to go for? You give them the visual guide and you be quiet and you let them decide. Because again, for some patients, this is all quite new for them. They maybe weren't expecting that, which if they weren't expecting that, maybe you want to improve your clinic onboarding system so that they know what to expect coming in. And that's why then sometimes patients will decide in the second session as well. If they choose to go for pay-as-you-go at this point, that's no problem. No problem at all. We'll rebook you in for next week. If you decide by next week that you'd rather take the package to save some money, you can also take it next week. Okay? So again, we're not being salesy here. We're just showing them, okay, what are you looking for today? I'm looking for a tin of beans, right? How many tins of beans do you need? I need 6 tins of beans. Okay, well, you could buy 1 tin of beans today, and then you can come back tomorrow and buy another tin of beans, okay, which is a little bit more, or you can buy the 6 tins of beans up front and you can save a little bit of money. That's all we're doing here with this, okay? And as I said, do not kid yourself thinking that you get this admin person who's going to be the best salesperson in the world if the therapist, what they delivered in that treatment room is absolute garbage. They didn't buy into the treatment plan. They didn't feel the difference in the first session. Then, as I said, you're going to open up an absolute can of worms, okay? It all starts and it ends. A service-based business, a physio service-based business, it starts and it ends in fulfillment, okay? And the sooner you realize that, the better, okay? Because your staff are going to feel uncomfortable, your patient's going to feel uncomfortable, and it's going to be an absolute disaster. The quickest, or the time that we realize that, and I realize that, and I focus more of my time and effort in just helping my therapist make sense of the symptoms, but get a patient to buy into treatment plan, everything changed. My staff felt better, the patient felt like it was natural, and our package conversions skyrocketed. So that's essentially the key actions that need to happen. As I said, maybe worth reviewing your clinical systems that we covered in the last episode, but all you need to do at the end of the session is literally just present the options, give the patient the options, and as I said in the last episode, if a patient doesn't take a package of care, it doesn't matter. All that matters is they rebook, they attend the next session, and that they actually get, and they go all the way to stage 6, which is stage 4, they hit the first 3 milestones within a few sessions. If they hit that, they're going to continue, their PVA is going to be good, they're going to reduce their cancellation, they're not rebook rate, they keep progressing even when the pain eases, and they hit their definition of success. You hit that, you'll get your reviews, you'll get your referrals, and you'll actually make a little bit more money in the process, okay, because they've paid more per session. It doesn't matter, okay? Packages, as I said, yeah, you get a little bit more money later, but there's just a higher risk with the cancel drop-offs and stuff like that, okay? So as I said, don't stress about it, but your clinical tools and all of that, your visual systems are going to be very, very powerful for helping patients with that as well. And you'll notice with the treatment plan as well, is that the treatment plan is outcome-based, it's milestone-based. So there's a clear plan for every session, there's a clear progression for every session for the patient. So it's not a case that they're coming back for 10 sessions of the same. They know that every single session they're making progress and that there's more progress to be done. So our clinical tools, our intellectual property here at the Go-To Clinic, Mastermind and Therapist Mentorship, all of these tools that we've designed will help you, and they will do a lot of the heavy lifting for you and your business in order to get your patient to buy in as well. Okay, so that's it for this week. As I said, the key thing here is that we get the clinical system right first and foremost, and all you have to do then is you have to just position it as a way to save some money if you want to. Okay, packages, very, very powerful. Okay, the beauty of it, and I'm just going to go back to my numbers here, okay, is if you get your packages right, okay, so if we can get more people on packages, that's getting the money out of the way. You'll see your drop-off percentages reduce drastically because these people have already paid for the session, so that when they have to rearrange, they're going to rebook because they've already paid for them. Your patient visit average straight away is going to go up because they've bought a 6 or a 10 package, whatever they need. That's going to help your utilization for your therapist as well. And then, as I said, it's going to massively reduce the admin time and energy and effort that they're spending chasing patients that have cancelled and haven't rebooked. Okay, so your package percentage can have a big impact on the other numbers downstream as well. Okay, so there's a lot to be said for it in terms of giving yourself clinically, giving yourself time to actually get results with patients, taking all the pressure and money off in the first session, and then you're super focused on getting the results with the patient. And when patients pay and they pay the money up front, you have their attention. Okay, they're a priority. They're saying, this is a priority for me to get right. I'm going all in on this. You have my attention. Let's go. And then in terms of walking the walk with this and actually delivering results for patients, the Go-To Clinic Hub has all the protocols. You extract the outcome protocols you want from your patient. We've got all the clinical reason. We've got all the anatomy, the biomechanics, the pain science to show you where to start. All of the assessments you need, all of the hands-on and rehab techniques you need to achieve specific patient value outcomes. I've designed a hub like that to help you get these outcomes for patients in private practice. Okay, so very, very powerful stuff. So packages of care, they improve your effectiveness as a therapist because they help you get the attention of your patient and ultimately get all that crap of money out of the way, and it gets the patient committed to the process, which then from my experience helps them get results, gives you the time to get the results and the reviews and the referrals. Okay, it also helps the efficiency of the business in terms of your admin team. Packages of care can be sold ethically. All you're doing is mapping out the treatment plan for the patient, telling them, here's the problem, here's the solution, here's the plan, and realistically, here's how many sessions it's going to take. We're setting expectations in the first session. We're showing them how we can help them have a better future, and here's the milestones they're going to hit along the way in every session. Okay? Packages of care are sold in the treatment room. By the time you bring them out to the admin, the patient's the mind has been made up and whether they're committed to the treatment plan or not. It doesn't matter how good a sales admin you have, if your therapist's stuff is crap in the treatment room, it's just going to feel salesy there, and if they do feel like they're being pushed into buying it, they're going to feel manipulated. Nobody's going to be a winner from that situation. All you need to do is, if you do your job in stage 1, stage 2 and stage 3, is you just position the package of saving money. Okay, that's as simple as it. Tin of beans or a 6-pack of beans, 1 can of beer, 6-pack of beer. Okay, whatever you want to use for your analogy there. Okay, it happens in all industries and it's very natural in all industries. So us as therapists shouldn't make this salesy because we're in this industry. Okay, your therapists just need a framework. Okay, they just need a clinical framework to make sense of the patient's symptoms, how to explain the problem, solution and plan to a patient. Very often that's going to skyrocket your conversions. Okay, we see it time and time again in the therapist mentorship and in the Go-To Clinic Mastermind. Okay, if you want some help installing this, the Go-To Clinic Mastermind is for multi-therapist clinic owners. We'll train your therapist on the clinical systems. They'll have access to a Go-To Clinic hub, so they'll have confidence to actually tell a patient how many sessions it's going to take. But most importantly, they'll have the support and the resources needed to actually walk the talk. Okay, we'll also got all the business systems to help you install the packages ethically. Okay, we'll do all the heavy lifting for you. If you're not bothered about that and you just want your therapist trained up to have the skills and the knowledge to do that, and you just want that, then the Train My Clinician pathway is for you, okay? That's where we'll use your head physio numbers. If you have them, if you don't, we'll help you get them very quickly with cheat sheets, and we'll turn your therapist into gold standard private practice, skilled, confident, gold standard therapists. If you're a solo clinic owner and you own your own clinic, we've got a Go-To Clinic mentorship for you. Again, we'll help you install this if you want some help with it. Or if you're a clinician that's just striving for clinical excellence, you understand that the language of high performers is numbers, and you want to strive for clinical excellence, then the Go-To Therapist mentorship is the best option for you. Okay, so no matter where you are in your journey or what you're looking for, there's probably an option here that we can help you. As always, if in doubt, just apply, reach out, and we'll tell you what we think is the best option for you. Okay, so that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed the show. In the coming episodes, we're going to look at the other metrics. So we've looked at IA rebook percentage, we've looked at the package conversions. In the coming episodes now, we're going to look at your drop-off and your patient visit averages. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for tuning in to this week's show. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, if you'd like a free copy of my Head Physio Systems 6-step checklist that I use to personally audit my own therapists to make sure that they can keep patients progressing even when the pain is eased, so that we can ethically increase our patient numbers, our revenues and referrals, head over to www.thegotophysio.com/checklist and I'll get that sent straight over to you. That's it for this week. I'll see you in next week's show.